All right, firing up the GoPro, getting that battery up. Got your Keela. Yeah, baby. Why don't you come over here and lay down, bud? Come up here and lay down. Keela getting sand on everything. We're in the yurt. All right, it's time to make a malt liquor video and answer some questions. Oh, there's some odd sound in here, actually. It's okay, honey. It's okay. All right, so these are the questions I wrote after Laura Layla made a question video, and I started thinking about questions. Why do we ask them? Why don't people answer them? Why do people avoid answering them? Why do people answer with something a little bit different? You know, why if like you ask them a question, they're like, well, what you're looking to learn is this, so I'll tell you the answer that makes me look good. You know, does that mean they know themselves, or that means they're trying to present themselves? They do know they've got flaws, but they don't want anyone else to know that, and is that helpful? Or perhaps the answers are actually that there's something, I don't know, there's something good about you, and wouldn't that be nice if other people adopted that kind of behavior? So anyway, question number one, how important is the truth? And a friend of mine once said that truth is a way of life or it's nothing. And which is kind of interesting because I never considered myself a liar necessarily, but I wasn't adverse to manipulating others with information or a lack of information. I remember someone once called me out saying that I was lying about being bothered by something. And I'm like, well, if what I'm talking about is bothersome, and I want it changed, what difference does it make if you think I'm pretending to be bothered by it? And so basically they were kind of honing in on the fact that like it was kind of like a lie. And they were right. So the truth is the most important thing in life. I can't remember the last time someone doubted me. Like, you know, I might be wrong about something, but I'm not trying to deceive people. So maybe it's not people's appreciation for my love of the truth. They just think that I'm likely to be wrong and I don't know it. Maybe. Who are you in traffic is number two, and this is a kind of a temperament thing or an embodiment thing. The kind of question, like for me, I think the reason why I get in a car is so I could arrive at point B. Like today, going from Portland out to Warrington, I drove the speed limit, even though that seemed to drive some people crazy. Especially through small communities that have like a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit or 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. Like it goes from 55, they're going 75, goes down to 25, and then it goes back up to 55, so they go 75. And I'm going 55, and I slow down to 25, and they lose their freaking mind. But this is not something I'm doing to them. This is something that I'm like, I want to arrive safely. I don't want to pay tickets. I don't want to disturb anybody as I pass through their communities. I want to be unnoticeable in traffic. I just want to get what I want, which is to show up without any problems. Actually, I got pulled over. I had a light out. I got pulled over a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't even worried about it. Like I pulled over, I'm like, I wonder if I left something on top of my van. Like nothing. Like at no point in time did I think I broke a traffic law or anything like that. Do I have bad vacations? And I've had a couple bad vacations, and this is why I tend to take vacations by myself. I've been on vacation with people who have had vacations can be stressful. I think it's in the top 5 stressors of humanity, like death, loss of a job, moving. I think vacations are right up in there, and I don't feel that at all. Like I don't get stressed by vacations in any way. I think that, like when I traveled to Thailand, I was a little bit nervous but only because I was afraid of things being so difficult that they might be too challenging, and I might miss out on some things. Like just getting a cab from point A to point B. Like I was like, I don't want to end up in the wrong place. But then I just calmed right down about it. So yeah, I've had some bad vacations, and it always seems like. And also, when I've been with somebody that's kind of losing their mind on vacation, I try to talk to them about it, and I'm like, this is like you get only a couple vacations a year, like this is very important to make this a really good experience for yourself and for everybody around you. Like so, you don't complain at the restaurant. You don't go up and have a problem with the room. Like you have a solution with the room. Oh, this was a minor thing, but I got bumped onto another flight, and I was traveling with my girlfriend, and she was desperate to have a fight with the lady at the counter, because the lady at the counter didn't understand what happened immediately, and she was brushing us off. And I said, let's just stand back and wait a moment. And my girlfriend, like I almost had to grab a hold of her to hold her back. And then when this one woman had dealt with everybody, I walked up and said, I believe there's been a misunderstanding. I might have communicated myself poorly. But we were bumped off our flight and told to get on this flight. And now it looks like you've taken everybody who has paid, and now you've taken all the standby people. And I'm concerned that we might not get a seat now. And we did get a seat. All the seats were gone, except for first class. First motherfucking class. I actually had to shush my girlfriend when I was talking to her, which is like that's next to me like pulling a gun on somebody. Is to shush somebody. Like she was just so desperate to fight with this woman, and by cooperating with her and by presenting it to her gently, we ended up getting first class. A delicious meal, lots of alcohol, loving it. So I personally never have a bad vacation, but I've been with some people that have had some real nightmares in paradise. What do you want from work? Security, a lot of money. Actually, I want, and I've got it, I want to be given way more than I deserve for giving way less than has ever been demanded from me. I want to do a good job. I want to be there for my company. I want to be there until I retire. But I don't want to be someone's slave. I want to work hard. I don't want to work till my back breaks. I don't want to work when I shouldn't. I don't want to do things I'm not comfortable with. I don't want to break the law. I want maximum benefit for an average output. And I think I probably put out more than an average output. I've got a good work ethic. But I think having a good work ethic, having the idea that like I'm going to put out this amount of work for you year round, is deeply appreciated by pretty much everybody I work with, unless they don't like that, and screw those folks. Yeah, I feel pretty dialed in with my work right now, with my career for the rest of my life. This is the last place I'm ever going to work. I'm not going to screw that up. What is my retirement like? I'm looking in Washington State. For those of you around the world that think Washington D.C. and Washington State, so a small bit of property on it that I'm looking to also have rental potential, and I'd like to get an RV or something. And when I retire, I would like to travel and then have that place to come home to, like maybe for summers. But like rent out the house on the property and then travel. I'd love that. I'd love to learn to sail. I'd love to sail to Hawaii or Australia or something like that, and have that place to come home to. What do you do when you feel frustrated? I got pretty frustrated at a friend of mine, and I conveyed it to like a couple sentences. I think I conveyed it a couple sentences too many. I said something like, I didn't want that to happen, and I spoke to you about that before. And so like that was all I needed to say. Like I was trying to avoid something from happening. I tried to talk to you about that so it wouldn't. And I pointed out to them afterwards, you weren't listening to me. And I don't think I needed to say that. I think that they did listen. They just didn't really respond. And so mostly, actually, as the older I get, the more when I feel frustrated, the more I think, how could I have done that better in the future? Like I guess my frustration now starts to seem like straight up lessons. Actually, I spent too much money back when my van broke down. I spent too much money fixing my van and too much money on the rental car, and now I look at that as having spent that money to learn that lesson. I don't think I'll ever waste that kind of money again. And so I was frustrated and angry, and now I'm kind of grateful actually that I didn't spend more. How important is getting your own way? You know, I think that that's pretty important, though I get my own way, like the whole bamboo, the breeze across the bamboo by, bending and moving around and swaying, by not being resistant, going with the flow. Because things don't need to be exact. I just need to get what's necessary. For instance, I got someone served me the wrong meal at a restaurant. And the second I put the bite in my mouth and I started tasting shrimp, I'm like, well, I didn't order something with shrimp in it. And when they came, they were apologizing, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. And basically, what I want to do is go out to eat and have a good meal. And it wasn't the meal that I picked out, that I thought about all that time or anything like that. But I got something that was delicious. The shrimp was really good. And I'm not going to sweat the details. I really want my goals. I really want to attain my goals, but a lot of the details don't matter. But whatever kind of thing that I envision is just a general focus. It's not a specific have to have it kind of thing. So, and frankly, I don't get my way a whole lot, and afterwards, when things go wrong, and I'm like, well, if we just would have done it my way, it would have taken 5 minutes, and you would have got what you wanted by now, instead of taking 40 minutes, and you still don't have what you want right now. But we'll do it your way some more. Let's do another 40 minutes of not getting my way, which is just getting you what you want. Let's just waste another 40 minutes. A little frustrated there. What brings you joy? The outdoors, Aquila. Books, music. I really like movies. I'm really getting I don't know what it's been the last 10 years. I've become a movie phobe or something like that. I love movies. Something else brings me joy. Solitude brings me joy. Yeah, actually doing something complex and making it happen brings me joy. What makes me angry? I'll tell you what makes me angry. It's something it's anything that's not cowboy culture, anything that's not cowboy ethics. Like people that try to get other people to trust them so they could rob them, or somebody that has they're walking along, they see a stained glass window, and they think how much fun it would be to throw a rock through it. It's irrational behaviors, destructive behaviors, people that think it's ordinary to end up in jail or something like that. People that people that live their life in a way that makes me think I'm living in a zombie movie. It makes me angry because it's just so pointless and such a waste of their life. And what could be more precious? They got the most precious thing imaginable, and they're just pissing it away. Where am I? What makes me uncomfortable? sometimes people say things and I'm like, I can't react to this, I can't react to this, I can't, like, this guy started talking about his parents bringing him up in the most, like, wonderful way. Like, my parents were so great. And then he started talking about, like, describing their behavior, and I would call their behavior alcoholism, drug abusers, violent, and incredibly bad, or an absence of parenting. You know, a whole, like, I learned how to cook because, you know, my parents thought, like, you know, if you want to eat, you should learn how to do this, because they weren't feeding him. And the entire time, like, I was actually with a bunch of people that kept glancing nervously at me, and I'm trying to keep a blank face. I felt like Kramer in a Seinfeld episode where everyone knows Kramer's going to say something or do something about this. And I kept asking very specific questions about, like, why did you have to cook for yourself? Why did your dad hit you? Why were you doing drugs at 9 years old? What other drugs did your parents provide you? Like the second, like my question started sounding like an interview. One of my friends was like, "Well, hey, let's go into the next room and have some coffee." All right. When is a good time to talk? I only want to talk when I have something to say, or when I'm trying to come to some sort of, like, when I'm trying to learn something. I want to talk then when I'm trying to learn. I want to talk when I think somebody needs to hear what I have to say. And the other is when is a good time to be silent, and I think it's all the time. I think you should have to break silence. Silence should be what you're doing. Like, imagine if I never talked to you ever, but imagine I still made videos. Don't you think you would learn a whole lot about me? Don't you think that you'd learn about my passions and my focuses and what kind of human being I was? Like, my words don't mean anything. You could watch my actions and learn everything you need to know about me. Where are the good places to be naked? Now, see, I really like getting naked. I get naked at the drop of a hat. That's actually kind of why I like being by myself a lot. Because my nudity kind of, like, is a trigger for a lot of people for a lot of different things. Like, I was going hot tubbing with a bunch of people, and I didn't bring swim trunks. And I was the only one. And as I noticed that, I'm like, I'm just jumping in here naked. Is that going to bother anybody? And everybody said it's not going to bother me, except one guy says, well, just so you don't get a hard-on. And I looked at him like, and I wanted to say, this is kind of what makes me uncomfortable. I wanted to say, like, is hot tubbing with a bunch of people sexual for you? Like, the whole thing of, like, would you like a napkin? Yeah, as long as you don't get an erection. You know, like, what does a napkin and an erection have in common? What does hot tubbing and an erection have in common? Like, I'm confused by that, so I'm thinking this must mean something to you. But yeah, actually one of my favorite times being naked was I camped by a water slide park, and it was closed, but I had permission to camp on their property, and I thought I'm going to go swimming in their pool, and I stripped down naked and climbed their fence naked, and then swam for a couple hours. It was good times. There was something funny about, like, if anyone shows up and I get in trouble, I don't have any clothes with me at all. Do I modify my plans? I tend to make my plans really vague, and I'm really willing to adjust them on a moment's notice. As a matter of fact, actually, modifying my plans is built into the plan. When I rode my bike across the United States, I discarded my map really quickly. And people said, "Oh, I bet you want to go see this. I bet you want to go see that." And I'm like, "I do want to go see that. Where is it?" You know, I didn't ask why I wanted to see it. I didn't ask how far away it was. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go see it. Where is it?" So modifying my plans is, if you don't, like, you might miss out on things by not going to where you intended, but you're definitely going to miss out on things by not taking a left or a right. You know, you gotta go explore. How much do expectations come into play in everyday life? Expectations for the day, like a lot of times beforehand, and sometimes I don't think about it till late at night, and sometimes I forget and I have to think about it early in the morning. But I have to give some sort of like rough overall shape of the day. I have to do the lines, and because a lot of times that reminds me of things that need to be done. But mostly it kind of gives me a sense of like pacing. That I'm never late for anything. At the end of the day, I haven't left things undone, and so I think that's important. Expectations. Do I control my life? I control the vast majority of my life. I think that the parts that I don't control, I'm looking to, like part of buying a house this year, is looking for more control in my life, and I try to seek to be as much in charge as possible because I'm not very in charge of things in any way, like so. I'm always looking for ways to increase, my the kingdom of Earl. I always want to push back my boundaries and control more of my life. And I remember I was like, when I changed my bank account, my first bank, the bank people I was leaving, like seemed concerned and started asking me questions. And I'm like, I'm not going to explain myself to these people. And it's like, it's my money to move, and my reasons are my own. So, do you know yourself? I don't know myself. That's why I started making YouTube videos. I am always mystified and wondering at the things that are going on around me and with me. Like sometimes I think something or respond to something. I wonder, why did I respond that way? Or why am I still bothered by something that happened 20 years ago? So I'm kind of a mystery to myself, and I'm like constantly trying to solve it. And actually, YouTube has been a really fantastic tool. I've actually come to some pretty great conclusions about things. Actually, I've put things away that have bothered me my whole life, and I've molded them around so much now that I'm able to put them away. Like I've figured that out. Mystery solved. It's all part of my life, but at least it's not a confusion. It sounds like there's people moving around the yurt. How dependent on money is your fun? I think fun should be free. I remember thinking. I feel bad now. I remember having this girlfriend that I used to keep track of how long it would take her to ask me to spend money. But then I thought about the things that she did for fun, and all of them cost money. So basically, she was asking me, "Let's go have fun," and what I was hearing was, "Let's go spend money." I feel really bad. I wish I could have talked to her about that because I really cared for her, and I don't think we didn't mesh, and I thought we could have if there would have been a better understanding. One of my friends, actually one of my girlfriends, called me addicted to exercise, and I'm like, I'm not addicted to exercise, but the things that you're talking about, like going for walks, walking the dog, going canoeing, bicycling, hiking, all these things are of little to no cost, of initial investment, and then they're free. So it seems like I'm addicted to exploration and fun, and you're addicted to giving somebody money so they can let you have fun. That's another thing about, do you control your life? Like, I want control of my fun. And what things in life have consumed you? Travel has. I've traveled to, I think it's 14 countries, I'm not quite sure. Taekwondo, martial arts, consumed me. I was involved in that for like 8 years. I think love has consumed me. I've been in relationships almost my entire life. And I kind of feel that right now, like, I'm not interested in thinking that should be, half my life should be somebody else. I'm not interested in that anymore. Good Lord, it sounds like someone's parked right against the house here. I often get consumed by things. I was consumed by skiing. I became a really good downhill skier. I'd like to do some more long distance hiking. I'd like to get into boating. Like I would like to find some healthy things to be consumed about. All right, that's the questions. I hope that recorded.